We gave some overall thoughts. Let's dig a little deeper into the defense. And I want to call it one play.
We just did, didn't we?
I want to call it one more play.
Okay.
We talked about Myles Garrett's dominance. When Myles Garrett started dribbling between his legs, and you can take this, Steve, you can take tag board. In my opinion, and I said this in the postgame show, I'll say it again. This is the single coolest thing a defensive lineman has ever done. Not only was it cool in the setup, but it worked. It led to an Ogbo sack. Give me the alternate angle, the second one. Watch it from the back. That is swaggy to the extreme. And it worked, and it led to a sack. G. Bush, you played defensive line on Division I level. Could you ever imagine doing this? What would your coach said if you tried to pull this out in a live game against one of the best quarterbacks?
Come sit by me, Tom McDaniels.
Yeah, exactly.
Come sit by me.
Unless you're Myles Garrett and you pull it off.
And take that visor off, and why is your socks way too low? When Myles Garrett is dribbling like he's hot sauce and he's crossing people up, I was like, listen, this is what I told you about all summer. He's isolated. They said, how much more can you unlock Myles Garrett? Well, you see it. They let him dribble between his legs by a 3 technique. He goes up and under, and he has nothing to do. He can't guard it. Myles Garrett disrupts the whole play, and guess what? Look at his friends getting involved. See Jadeveon Clowney, if you would have just shut up and did what you were supposed to do, you could have been out here getting this sack. But you talk about they setting you up. No, these other guys, guess what they're doing? They're playing off of that. That pressure is coming. And shout out to Joe Burrow because he moved like he just knew what it was. And that play 2 years ago, he'd have been up the field and for 5 or 10 yards, and they would have reset these sticks. But when you let a guy like that come and stand up, how do you game plan for that?
You don't. There's one simple way to say it. You don't. Myles, to me, it was the equivalent of a boxer. We've seen guys do this before. Sugar Ray, I think, had done it in the past. Muhammad Ali. It's the old, look at this, and then you jab with your other hand. Now, most times the jab doesn't land, but it's pretty, and he's taunting the opponent, and he gets points for that. In this case, Myles did the wind-up with his right, jabbed with his left, and it connected. And opposing offenses are going to see this. Now the cat's out of the bag. Now they know what he's going to do.
Okay.
I think it's brilliant lining him up, no hand in the dirt, in the middle. How do you stop that?
He also dropped back into coverage.
He did
3 or 4 times, and Joe Burrow throws it, and he caught it mid play, and was like, "Let me just sail this a little bit.
Now,
I'm gonna throw this out of bounds."
Now this is the difference because Myles dropped back a couple times last year, and he was complaining about it.
Yes.
Remember that? He's like, "I don't know what the hell I was doing back there," but he's in a system now that you clearly. So far, he loves. And I told you guys this summer, the reason Jim Schwartz was here was because it was the best system for Myles Garrett. They felt like Jim's system would exacerbate Myles' talents better than Brian Flores's, and that's why Jim Schwartz got the job.
Check that stat out and read that and let that sink in. And just, I mean, guys, we have said that for some, he is among the best at what he does. But we always, all of us agreed there's another level. He shouldn't be among the best. He should be the bar setter.
Yes. Yeah.
And I feel like in this defense, with the talent he now has around him, he will be the bar setter. There was an interesting conversation last night or yesterday during the game where the question was asked, what does the addition of Jim Schwartz do to this defense? And the color guy said, I think it takes him from 16 sacks to 20 sacks.
Right. Yeah, he said,
that was
I think he's dead on.
That's what he said. He's
going to get
the color guy. I can't even think of it.
I can't either.
Who the hell was it? I don't know. I was watching the game. I can't even remember.
Charles Davis.
Charles Davis, who did a good job. But and Ian Eagle, of course, on the call, which was always a great call. Myles was magnificent yesterday, and the other guys made plays. Like when he caused havoc in the backfield, Ogbo and Zadarius Smith, they finished. Right? They made the plays. They stopped the running game for the most part. Mixing an okay game.
And he didn't have that help last year.
He had no help last year. So when Myles Garrett last year would bust through the line and get the quarterback out of sorts and get him running around.
There's nobody else to clean it up.
It was nobody to clean it up. Now they had guys to do that in this game. It was amazing. It really was impressive.
Zadarius Smith started when Zadarius, like you mentioned, he starts off first play of the game.
Yeah,
and it's Zadarius Smith hitting you upside the head. You're like, well, hold on now.
Yeah,
at least let me get set up.
3-step drop.
3-step bow.
It was so fast you couldn't even believe that they were on him in that time.
Yeah. Another thing that is a little thing that I actually liked that Myles Garrett did was there was a play where they stopped the play and Joe Burrow threw the ball down and Myles Garrett still knocked him down. Now, some people would think that's cheap. I don't care. As long as it's not a dirty hit, as long as it's not to the knees or the head, which it wasn't, I like that. It's, to me, and I don't know if he was planning to do that or not, but to me that sends a message. I'm still going to hit you.
That was the delay of game call, right?
I think it was.
Yeah.
I don't remember the call, but they stopped.
I think that was the delay of game.
He was like,
he flipped the ball and still got taken to the ground. Yeah.
I'm still hitting you.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a nasty hit or anything like that. But it was. I looked at it as a message being sent, and I thought it was important. I thought the Bengals defensively, the Bengals played very well. They ran out of gas at the end.
Pratt would play. But that guy was everywhere.
When the offense is not moving the ball, what are you going to do? But I thought they completely wore them out by the end of the game.
Is this sustainable long term? Like, and the reason I ask that, I know it's week one. Yeah. Sometimes you get those weird kind of oddball performances out of week one. And by the way, the defenses, as we talked about on Friday, way ahead of the offense, not just in this game, but league-wide.
Not in the Dolphins-Chargers game.
Was there? That might have been the only over.
What a game.
In the NFL. Yeah. I mean, it felt like
Dallas might have gone over by themselves.
No, I think it was more than 41.
Okay.
Wow, well, that was a shocker, too.
Yeah.
But we're not going to talk about that.
Are we buying that long term? And I say that because this Bengals defense, our offense, even though it's rusty here, they're one of the yardsticks.
Yeah.
Can they continue to play like this during the course of the NFL season, barring injuries?
Effort is free. You may not have the results, right? You may not have the results. Maybe somebody gets out of a sack. Maybe you don't get any interceptions. Hey, right there, they didn't even get any turnovers. So one of the things Jim Schwartz is going to be preaching this week is, guys, we got to get turnovers. Guys, we need to get the ball out. We need to get a strip sack. We need to get – and Jim Schwartz, the way he coaches, Earl said this on the postgame show, and I thought it was spot on. He said, Jim Schwartz is not going to let that effort wane. That's just what it is.
Right.
Like, he's not the type of guy that's going to rest on his laurels, and he understands the defense can get better. If we can get 24 points with the offense not doing much, just by us playing the way we are playing, then that means that we could be something special. So that's why I think that it is sustainable, because effort is free. You just need to spend the energy to do that.
You guys buying this long term?
I mean, you're not going to hold teams to 3 points in
not,
under 100 passing
Nobody
yards.
plays that kind. Nobody plays that suffocating a defense week in and week out. It doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
The Browns, we all thought they had a good defense on paper. In 1 week, they show they have a damn good defense on paper. I think they'll probably be a good defense for most of this year. Obviously, it's 1 week. The Giants are not going to get shut out every week. The Chiefs are not going to lose every week. You can't overreact to one game. But all we got is one game of information, and this one game of information by this defense was very impressive. No, they're not going to average giving up 3 points a game.
No.
That's not sustainable.
No.
But the quality of the talent is there, and so the Browns playing very good defense is sustainable.
Can they generate consistent pressure on the quarterback every week? Yes.
That's the key, right?
Do they have 3 defensive backs? Do they have 3 cornerbacks who can play man coverage? Yes. Are they going to get beat? Yeah, of course they're going to get beat. But for the most part, over the course of a season, can they consistently play at a high level? Yes. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think the sort of what G was saying, the effort level is there. If the effort level is there, the talent is there. The scheme certainly seems to be there. They're not going to have the same result every week. But absolutely, I think this front four, and with some of these blitz schemes, we were seeing some different types of, I won't call them exotic blitzes yesterday, but they were mixing it up.
Right.
And you weren't exactly sure where it was coming from.
There was nothing exotic to that, really.
No.
It was pretty much standard.
But last year was so vanilla. Last year was so bland that...
Well, to be fair, they got way more talent now, too.
Okay, but like the
back end of the defense is largely the same.
It is the same.
And we sat here last year and we were begging Joe Woods, what are you doing?
It wasn't just us, it was the players. The players were frustrated. The players were telling me, why can't we change things? Like, what we're doing isn't working, so change something. Nothing ever changed.
All that zone coverage and that. See, you give yourself an opportunity, right? If you are playing man-to-man and you are blitzing and bringing people, if they do catch the ball, you have a chance.
Sure.
You're next to them. If you're playing zone and they catch the ball, that guy has 5 yards between you and him. He could give you any move he wants to.
And they did last year a lot. Imagine if you're Mike Tomlin and the Steelers. You faced the Niners defense to start the season. And, boy, did they at one point the yardage in the game was 199 yards for the Niners and 1 yard of total offense.
Right.
I didn't realize that.
And now they've got to get ready to face a Browns defense that looks very similar to this Niners defense.
By the way, shout out to YouTube. I love the 4 pictures. Oh, my God.
The sports bar.
It is great YouTube TV with the Sunday ticket.
Hey, someone told me yesterday that that's $500. Is that true? The YouTube TV package?
No, it's not.
No.
I literally bought it this weekend.
Yeah, I got
had
it.
to buy
What
it.
did you pay?
It's $62 a month.
Yeah, they break it up
Well,
in installments.
okay, so do the math. They
Well,
said
no.
They
Oh,
said
you
it was.
mean-
It's
before
not
Sunday
500.
ticket?
I
Yeah.
don't remember.
Oh,
Sunday ticket.
it was an extra 300 for the year. 300 for the year.
And that's it, or was there a fee?
I
that
think it
went
might be
along with it?
500, Jay, if you don't buy, like if you just bought the Sunday ticket without buying the rest of YouTube TV.
So,
Yeah, I think that's probably
So-
it.
Okay, maybe that's what it was.
Yo,
Yeah.
YouTube TV
By the
is
way,
like
YouTube
89.
TV is a great service.
Oh.
Just a standalone service. If you're looking
it's
for
great.
the best delivery of channels at the
great.
price, I got it for my mom a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
and she wanted me to do some research on all the programs that were out there. And she's 83 years old, so from a tech savvy, she streams everything. She can
Yeah.
do it all. And it's very, very affordable. And now you throw on
I love
the
it.
Sunday
The only thing that
ticket.
stinks is it doesn't have MLB Network and it doesn't have Bally's.
Yeah.
So I'm going to
They've gotta
figure
fix
that
that.
out.
And they got
Yeah,
they
but-
got 4K, and I got
Yeah, they got 4K,
I
yeah.
got I don't know how many TVs. I got like 8. There's 8, and they
Nice.
all stream.
Nice.
So I had the internet running.
Yeah.
Everybody was on my
You got
house.
smoke coming out of your router.
My
Oh,
router,
God.
but shout out to I got the fiber optics.
But- Yeah.
And they have it in 4K.
Yeah, it was
Dude,
great.
4K.
And by
Yeah.
the way, Vegas will tell you that you should react to week 1, but not overreact, right? Because Vegas reacted on the Browns and the Steelers. The Browns looked great. The Steelers looked awful. So the Steelers probably go before the season. I think this game was a pick'em.
It was a pick 'em even last night after
Right.
both
It was
results
a
were in.
pick'em.
Now
And then-
it's 3.
Now the Browns. I thought it was.
I-
it was
1.5.
I thought it was
Browns are
Oh,
1.5.
okay. I thought I saw 2.5 somewhere.
No,
this
it's
morning.
Right,
morning,
but so they
I just
reacted,
checked
but they
1.5.
didn't overreact because based on last week, the Browns should be like a touchdown favorite based
Yeah,
on what
you would
happened
think.
yesterday.
Yeah.
But they're not going to react that
Well,
much.
also, too, figure this. Home game for the Steelers.
Right.
Monday night's game for the Steelers.
Yeah.
Divisional game.
And to some degree, every week's a new week in the NFL.
Yeah,
Some
you're
degree.
right, especially early
Yeah.
in the season.
Yes,
Teams are trying to
100%.
figure out what's working and what's not working.
100%,
And we said the Browns' defense won't look this good this year. You can book that the Bengals' offense will not look that bad
That's
this
right.
year.
Mike's got to read real quick. The last time the Browns were favored going to Pittsburgh was Bud Carson's first year as head coach.
God.